That sounds interesting to me.
We looked at injuries at almost every sporting league. You requested UFC.
That sounds interesting.
Let's get started.
I'm glad it's a sporting league and not sport and called UFC a sport.
This ain't no sport. Do not call our sport a sport.
Ooh, bro is making money. Porra. This guy earns good money. That's a Patek Philippe Nautilus. No, sorry, Aquanaut. Aquanaut. Costs around 40k, I believe, at the moment. What the fuck am I doing? A 1, I think. Oh, it went up 50. But wait. No, but he has a more complicated one. Yes, this one, but not with the rosé gold. Yeah, I would say probably about 60k. Yeah, that's the one he has. 124k. Okay. All right. And it's a weird flex as well if you have a 120, let's just say 100k watch to have a orange strap to it, because that strap alone is very expensive. And then to take the color orange, like, pretty big flex, because normally you would take like black, you know, like something you can go like with every outfit. It just was like, I probably have 3 others. I just take an orange one this time. Good for him, man. I love watches, so good for him. Proud. Not proud, I don't know him, but like, he earned that shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, but that didn't happen from a single punch. That happened, it's an accumulation of the hits, and that's a hematoma. That just goes away. That's just basically a fluid,
Figure of speech.
Accumulation of fluids that comes here into your forehead. And it was pretty big with Joanna, but it's not too concerning. It will just swell away.
It's so big.
Now this is the shot that gave her the swelling.
Ah, okay.
Right above.
Yeah, but it was a small one, and then it grew and grew and grew.
Forehead immediately started swelling up.
Oh, look at that.
Big shot by the champion.
That's a hematoma. And while that looks terrible, it's not as dangerous had that hematoma formed inside her.
I'm a doctor. Dr. Bloodsport.
Because remember, inside the skull, there's no place for it to go. So pressure builds up, and then that pressure is dangerous for the neurologic tissues, the brain itself.
I love stuff like that. I think it's so interesting.
If there's no fracture and it's just superficial bleeding, it looks...
I'm 100% sure this guy's fucking insanely smart. Because he's such a young doctor, that's impressive.
Worse than it is in many instances. Oh, this is the same person? Wow.
But I don't think, is it from the weigh-in for that fight, really?
Pretty incredible.
Shane Burgos, Edson Barboza. That's not an injury though, that's just him getting knocked out. I'm interested to see what he says about it, because he got knocked out like 5 seconds later. But I wouldn't call it an injury. Ngannou, bro, all day.
Busy with the left. Oh, good right hand by Barboza.
Stop the...
I was very scared in this moment when I watched it live. I remember. I was like, holy shit, that doesn't look good.
fight!
I've never seen that. And it's not that he never watched the UFC, or MMA overall. Stop the fight! Sounds like Dan Hardy. Stop the fight!
Stop the fight!
Wow. Most commonly, when you see a strike, it right away incapacitates a fighter. But in this situation, there was a delayed response, which could be that the muscles were they're firing, and then only after the brain recognized what's going on, it completely shut down and went into a prone position.
Interesting. I would have liked to have a little bit more explanation, but okay. Oh, the nose broke. That's one of the most ugliest nose breaks ever. But those are not the injuries I'm interested in hearing his opinion, because yeah, it's a broken nose. Like, you can also ask Dr. Bloodsport for that. And yes, I think I took out this bone completely.
That looked like it was to the frontal bone, the top portion of the skull there.
Was to the nose though. If you want to see, I wonder. No, it's just a UFC. They should show what they should show him is Michael Venom Page knocking out Cyborg, because that was a knee to the forehead, and that fractured his skull, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, right on the nose. Oh my God, look at the nose. It's like...
The referee said, Joe Martinez said, the ring announcer, before he says the decision, let's give an applause for this amazing fight. Which I really like when the announcer does that.
No, don't fix it. Just wait for the doctor. I mean, the nasal bones are so...
Yeah, but I mean, of course, that's a smart thing. But when you're in a fight, first of all, Mike Perry is not the smartest human being on this planet. And if you see it in the camera, he sees himself on a big screen now, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And you want to touch it.
So tricky. There's a lot of cartilage there. And one of the most worrisome things is that you can get a nasal septal hematoma there. And that type of bleeding into that section is dangerous and problematic and requires urgent attention. The blow was so bad that Perry started having trouble breathing and ended up being hospitalized. Perry underwent...
Yeah, how should you breathe like that if your nose goes like 3 different ways? I would think you would have to breathe through your nose and mouth.
Went successful nose surgery in Uruguay.
In Uruguay? Yeah, I heard he has his bone removed or something.
Mike, it's good to see you and your new nose. It's looking great.
Look, can you do this, Eric?
My dear.
Can you do that?
Yeah, no, that injury. Hilwani. Ah, yeah, the cranial nerve.
Here we go. Ooh. Heavy low kick.
Calf kick.
He kicked me right here. There's a nerve, a perennial nerve that will shut your foot off. His toe, his big ass Ecuadorian toe, hit my perennial nerve right here. It shut my foot off. My foot was completely numb.
Happened a few times in the MMA fights already.
But my foot didn't work. I fell down.
So you roll
Anthony Smith, Jimmy Coote.
The peroneal nerve or the common fibular nerve is a brand.
Peroneal, that's how you write it, okay. Yeah, but that's, wait, is it just coming down? Because that's pretty high. I always thought it's like here.
Off the sciatic nerve. Most people have heard of sciatica. If you get hit there, it actually can paralyze the nerve. Paralyzing that nerve, at least temporarily, what can happen is you develop foot drop, where you don't have the muscle called the tibialis anterior on the foot to actually raise up your foot.
You will kill in rematch, yeah.
And then there's also some weakness in the muscle.
Vera won 0 seconds of that fight until his foot went numb.
On the outside of the foot, so your foot basically falls inward. And obviously you can't step on a foot that's flailing. You lose your base, all other issues occur.
Oh! Huge elbow from Shield!
Oh, the lag kicks. I was like, what was it? The lag kicks. Yeah. But it's also that's hard to, like, that's not the right clip for the doc in my opinion, because that's just, yeah, he took like 100 lag kicks in that fight over all rounds, and that's not an injury, that's just bruising from accumulation of lag kicks. Like, show him the shoulder that's popping out of Tito Dillashaw against Sterling, stuff like that. Show him Anderson Silva's lag break, or Connors with the stress fracture, stuff like that. That's interesting.
Without a good base, it's near
that's the other lag though now.
Impossible to have a good fight.
You see, now he's giving fight advice. That's not the thing we tune in for.
Left hook to the midsection, down goes Fabe. Yeah, he had to get carried back to his corner. I mean, they didn't want him using it any more than he has to.
Wow.
Day after the big fight, dude.
Leg kicks are deceiving, man. It feels like I was getting hit with a bat. That's the first time I've really been
Yeah, it is like a bat. You also swing it like a bat.
Here.
Oh, so much swelling.
Oh my God, look at that. Oh, Jesus, look at that.
That's a serious hematoma there. Remember, when you hit muscle bleeds. That's what bruises come from. And if you hit the muscle
that's interesting though.
Enough, you could actually have electrolyte disturbances and neurologic disturbances where the muscle starts firing, not firing, shutting down, being slow to react, cramping. So that's what's happening every time you're getting kicked.
They kind of have to wait for like the swelling to go down and stuff before they MRI or anything, right?
Well, first we get X-rays to make sure bones aren't broken. And what's interesting about X-rays is they're not incredibly sensitive. They don't catch all stress fractures, for example, or really small fractures.
Oh, really?
So in that instance, we do get MRIs. You would prefer
I didn't know MRIs is for muscles as well. I thought MRIs is more for like if you want to see into the knee and stuff like that. Is that a dick in the MRI, or like, what is that thing hanging down? That looks. Huh? Are these 2 balls? What the hell?
Go down. Now, on the other hand, if you wait 2 weeks and the swelling goes down and the patient's fine clinically, there's no issue, getting an MRI might be overkill.
Oh, the hack kick that made him blind. I wonder if he gets the context to it.
Belfort very fluid and relaxed here in the early going.
They should actually make a movie about. I know he has a documentary. They should make a movie about his career, because like in the movie you could make it from Michael Bisping's POV getting kicked and like that light that he always tells about, switches and stuff. And, like, that would be a cool movie, like Jose Aldo did in his movie.
Oh. There it is again, that left high kick. Oh. And Bisping is opened up and in all sorts of trouble. That'll do it.
When was your vision first compromised? Was it after the? It was after the Vitor fight, right?
It was the Vitor fight that did it, and I slowly started getting our symptoms. I was doing this a lot in restaurants. You know, restaurants are dark, some of them. I was doing this,
He wants to see if he has peripheral vision.
My friends would be like, oh, he's doing that thing again with his hands. I'm like, can you see your hand there if you do that? By the end, it was like right in front of me there, and I couldn't see. I called the doctor, and he said, yeah, you got a detached retina.
Interesting, because the detached retina happens quite suddenly, and there's 3 different signs that we look for, or symptoms that we look for in patients. One is like the quick loss of vision. Some people describe it as a curtain going over the eye. New floaters in the eye, like happening very quickly, and then also flashing lights. This is a surgical emergency.
So that's what he said as well.
We are taught to refer and get them treatment within 24 hours.
It's just a bump in the road, hopefully. The surgery lasted over an hour. They injected oil in my eye. They used a laser. They put a silicone.
The tough one is you have to be fully awake there and look like you. Of course, your eyes are getting like forced to be open, but your muscles are constantly trying to close it, and you're looking into someone sticking stuff into your eye. That's a nightmare.
Sponge around the outside, and eventually reattach my retina. It redetached. I got glaucoma. It was just bad luck. One thing after the other. Anything that could go wrong with an eye went.
The thing was with the eye, when you start performing surgeries on the eye, and then still continuing combat sports, it creates all sorts of different risk factors. That's why when I was talking to some of my ophthalmology colleagues about getting LASIK before my boxing match, they were telling me the different options, some of which carried a higher risk given the fact that I was going to experience head trauma as a fighter.
How did you pass this test?
Oh, you fought? Okay.
Lying, cheating, bullshit codes. I lied to so many doctors.
It's pretty sad to hear that he had to do that, because it put his life in jeopardy.
Then I'll show you right now.
No, he was awake.
So as we see, there is...
That's why you used to wear sunglasses, baby boy.
That's why I used to wear sunglasses, baby boy. The prosthetic lens. So I definitely can't live without this thing.
That's really cool. I have no idea about prosthetic lenses. That's above my
pay. It's always... I always wonder, does he still have like feeling in that eye? Because that lens does not look comfortable. It looks very hard, like hard shell. And I have normal lenses, and they are like as soft as it gets. But even them sometimes they itch a little bit around if your eyes are a little bit sensitive. And that's like I don't know what it's made of, but it looks like a fucking plastic thing. That hurts me just thinking about it.
A grade.
But it was kind of, oh yeah, the nose. Where Cerrone, I still have to say that was a little bit of, I was very disappointed with Ferguson this fight because it was a cheap shot of him after the bell. But yeah, what I learned from that is never sneeze your nose when it's broken.
There's no point of comparison for Ferguson. I don't know who you'd compare.
Oh, that elbow.
Yeah, but wait for when the round is over.
I felt the elbow. The Lecronot.
Ah, they didn't show the cheap shot. Because I think that one really messed it up, the cheap shot. But they don't show him blowing his nose out as well.
You can't blow your nose. Doctor said you can't fight.
I think I watched this fight.
You can't fight. Doctor's telling him he can't fight.
Yeah, he blew his nose.
Yeah, I mean, his eye is absolutely terrible. There's probably a fracture in there somewhere that's causing air pockets to go into his eye, making it completely swollen shut. And that's dangerous.
So he didn't get the context, because it was... I think there's even a video, I think. from between rounds. His eyes was not shut, but he was sneezing his nose, because I think when your nose is broken, it feels like that. And then it bloop. And there's many stories in combat sports of that happening.
Not just for the eye itself, but also for the fighter, because they're not.
Yeah, of course they're not allowed to fight one eye.
Be able to see a fight come from punch come from that direction.
You blew your nose, which is
Tell this to Michael Bisping.
something you're never supposed to do, and your eyes swell up.
I also used to see, I think this was in a Rocky movie, where they would cut the eye that is really swollen, allow it to bleed.
I can't see nothing. Gotta open my eye.
Oh, what the why the is it, like, what the hell? It looks like... I'm not saying that.
We don't do this. This is highly illegal and dangerous for so many reasons. A lot of vital structures there that
of course you wouldn't do that. Oh, I watched that fight live. The only Eagle FC event that I ever watched live. I think it was also the last one that they had in America, where he... It was a shoulder, I think, right? What is the Castro doing these days? Where is he fighting?
Tomorrow I gotta go to you, man. What does Jorgen de Castro need?
You see the shoulder? Ooh.
Now, man, to get back in this fight.
Oh, his shoulders out.
Wow. Talk about sports.
That's a nightmare of me, getting my shoulder. That's something I'm really afraid of. My shoulder popping out. Because I always have a little bit of shoulder problems, but that's my nightmare, like hitting the bag and the pop.
But the ref has to see it.
Oh my God, he's
Chuch's son was calling the fight.
Bone on bone grinding there. Remember, bones have articular cartilage, so it's cartilage that rubs over the head of the bone that allows it to move smoothly within that joint. Then there's the labrum that keeps it in place. And if you have issues with your labrum or ligamentous laxity or weak tendons in that area, you can be more prone to developing a dislocation.
If they put it back in the socket, could you restart?
Of course. Medically, yeah.
Interesting. Because in my head, as I said, I'm not a doctor at all, but in my head, even if you put it back in, especially if you continue right after it, you put it back in, the chance of it popping out again is so high, like you saw with Teacher Dillashaw.
If they were able to reduce his shoulder really quickly, again, I don't know the rules here, but he might be completely fine. There's instances where someone has a very loose shoulder, so much so to the point where it comes out frequently, they're able to pop it back in themselves and continue fighting or doing whatever it is.
Yeah, like TJ, but you saw that doesn't work.
So.
The fight boy broke his leg. Still hurts my heart.
Oh, that's when his leg gave out.
And Dustin, the little pussy pea hat, continued to pound.
Oh.
The cut man is trying to work on his head. What a fucking moron.
It's not a dislocation. That's
a solid break.
Displaced fracture. Oh, stop showing it.
Well, the good thing about it, the reason why I can watch it is the bone didn't went through the skin. That's my nightmare. The bone, I think that happened with White Man, right? The bone going through the skin. Ah! Like,
no, I can't watch it.
I can watch that, honestly. At the beginning when it first happened, I had problems, but now I can easily watch it. It just it hurts me more. It hurts me more kind of emotionally because I'm the biggest Conor fanboy, and you know what I mean.
I'm still a human.
I was injured going into the fight.
Yeah, it's stress fractures.
People are asking me when was the leg broke. At what point did the leg break?
That was the video as well where he said, unbreakable titanium shin bone.
Ask Dana White, ask the UFC, ask Dr. Davidson, the head doctor of the UFC. They knew I had a stress fractures in my leg going into that cage.
Stress fractures certainly put you at risk for a complete fracture. This is why I frequently have patients who are drastically increasing their mileage training for.
I just wonder, how do you realize that you have stress fractures? I'm always afraid of that. Because I kick the back so often that I'm always afraid, like, do I get stress fractures from that? Like, especially with the hard backs. I'm always like, that would be a nightmare that I don't feel anything and then out of nowhere, bam, it breaks. I'm like, fuck. Like, how do I feel that I have a stress fracture?
For a marathon or something. And I see a stress fracture, they have pain in their...
Bro, how is this guy running? This guy is asking for his Achilles support. Look how he's running, bro. He's jumping to his heels.
I diagnose them and I tell them, don't run the marathon because you could snap your leg. And they say, no, I'm good. And then things like this happen. And that's the risk. That's
David Goggins did
continuing to train under stress.
Navy SEALs training with stress fractures.
Tools that exist through sound, they can speed up healing. It's pretty interesting.
Nice.
I've seen some preliminary research on them being beneficial. I haven't checked in on the research over the last few years, but they look like this, and they're pretty cool in that they could potentially speed up healing of fractures, which is great for professional athletes.
So now I've got a titanium rod going down the knee, from the knee to
unbreakable.
The and the doctor said it's unbreakable.
I wonder if he didn't have his accent, would we find this message equally as charming? If you didn't know, I fought Nate Diaz's boy Chris Avila. Click here to check.
Wait, you fought Chris Avila? That's nice, man. Probably in like those celebrity boxing stuff, Misfits or something, yeah? Nice. Big up, Dr. Mike. I didn't know this guy, but I would give him a follow, but I only like follow UFC page with this account. I think I'll follow with the private account. Good video, man. That was interesting.